If you could spend a moment with some remarkable people and discover what their life sounds like, what would you ask? Welcome to Are We On Air? An audio encounter. I'm Arman, and each episode will feature one conversation with an inspiring friend of mine who will share with us the soundtrack to their life. Welcome back to another episode of Are We On Air? This week we are being joined by my friend and one of the most in-demand actresses in today's cinema. The wonderful, the beautiful and talented GOLSHIFTEH Farahani. Goli and I got a chance to catch up a couple of weeks ago and ended up talking about music. Hence I pulled out the mics and hit record. And boy, did we have a fun afternoon at her beautiful, off-the-grid piece of heaven that sits on top of a mountain at an undisclosed location. From Jim Jarmusch to DiCaprio, she's worked with the best and brightest in today's cinema. But we talked about the music of her youth growing up in Iran and how she was on her way to become a big pianist at the conservatory in Vienna before life rerouted her towards acting. But we also have an Are We On Air premiere. I had the pleasure to record Goli playing the hang drum live for us. Pure gold. We used this opportunity to talk about Persian mysticism and philosophizing about what culture means in the 21st century. But you'll also learn what us human beings have in common with a bamboo stick. You shall find out soon. And as always, you can find us on Instagram, Spotify, Apple, YouTube at Are We On Air and on areweonair.com. And please do enjoy this episode and don't forget to share the love. We already had a wonderful lunch or dinner, and I think we spent the past 3 hours already here. So we talked a lot of beautiful, caught up. Well, we missed 6 years of each other's lives. And I thought, why not pull out the mics and we record these conversations, especially when we started talking about music. I'm sure you already know everything about Are We On Air that there is to know.
Well, I hope we can make it.
We can make this, I know. Yeah. So, first of all, what a beautiful home.
Oh. It's such a coincidence that you're here.
It's a coincidence.
Normally nobody comes here. It's crazy.
You built this refuge with a natural pond and a beautiful view and an amphitheater and all beautiful wood and solar panels. You planned this. You knew Corona's going to happen. We all have to live off the grid, and you already built your little haven.
I knew I had to be for years, out of cities. And then, it was this refuge that came to life somehow. It's funny that nobody knows I live here. Oh, so probably we will put beep on everything but the name of the place. But it is on top of a mountain in a refuge with old wood and everything. We don't know where, somewhere on the planet. Yes, somewhere, beep, beep.
I don't even know where to start. I have the questions, but no, it's been a very amusing afternoon, and we just started playing music from your childhood. I thought now's the time to pull out the mics, and let's start with what's your earliest significant musical memory that shaped you as an artist?
Oh, that's what we were talking about. Is that because of our fathers and their left influence, whatever they were believing, there was somehow this Russian influence from Rimsky-Korsakov, from Rashid Behbudov, which is from Azerbaijan, Rachmaninov, everything with off. It's funny, when I was listening to the podcast with Julian Schnabel and everyone, I was thinking of that, and it was exactly last year I told you. And I was thinking, that's my childhood music. It was definitely classical, but it wasn't Mozart or Beethoven classical. It was all the often Rachmaninoff and Rimsky-Korsakov and Tchaikovsky and also Ovsky. Yeah, a lot of Ovsky.
Lots of Ovskys. You remember a particular moment in your home?
I think it was an autumn. It was one autumn that, again, it was always there. Like this was the soundtrack of my childhood, where my mother would always play. It was, I think it was again Rimsky-Korsakov or something with Rachmaninoff. This piece, da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da da. And there are different versions. One is with cello, one is only piano. I think it was the one with cello. And the leaves were falling. When I was a kid, for some crazy reason, the government was taking our home away. And my father was fighting to keep the home or take it back, and I could feel what was happening in that moment. That my dad was probably somewhere in a court fighting, and my mom was making or baking something. We were living in this basement of this building that belonged to my great aunt, and on the first and second floor, they brought two people from the government to sit where our stuff was there. And we were like somehow there in that basement, and we had access to the garden. And I remember the leaves. I remember everything. And it's funny that they talk the smells and tastes that they bring back the exact sensation of what was going on. And for me, it's always music. And because I'm aware of it, every era of my life, I choose a song and I listen to it on book, like over and over, and then I stop. And a few years after, when I go back to that song, I feel exactly what was going on, meaning my cells, my muscles, my stomach feels exact. If it was a heartbreak, if it was a like joy or anything, that song is gonna be my access, my shortcut to exactly remember what I was feeling in that moment. And I think all these Russian influence, which was not Russian, it was the Soviet. It was not Russia, it was the Soviet. Because now when I listen to anything from Azerbaijan, Armenia, Georgia, Bulgaria, like even all the songs that they are coming from that region, just they have a very strange effect on me. With either I have tears or I want to jump and dance. It's crazy.
I mean, that's the power of sound.
Yeah.
It's like a scent, as I always say. It takes you back. It can take you back right to that moment, to a person, to a feeling. And yeah, it's like a diary. I mean, to me it is. It's literally like a diary. I forget a lot of things in my life. My memory is not the greatest. But the moment I hear a song, it just takes me back right away. And I know exactly the detail of it as well, or the moment.
It's on body level. It's not on like intellectual level. It's your body that remembers. You cannot intellectually, if you had a diary, you would read it. You would bring it back as an intellectual memory. But sound, also taste and smell is the same. It takes you back exactly where you were, as if you were 2 years old, or that's why I think I can remember these when I was in my mother's belly. I can still remember these songs from my subconscious is remembering my body, my cells, my charnel. It's the meat. It's, that is remembering.
Is that what you just felt when we had that delicious Iranian caviar?
I also have the sweet lemon. Yeah, it's true. I think that's what also it's the story of immigration and exile, is that you try to create all that, all those feelings through smells and tastes and music, because nothing else can bring it back. It doesn't go through your eyes. It has to be either your ears or your mouth or your nose. That's how it comes back. That's how I remember that those afternoons in Iran, or even now Paris has become nostalgia for me. Like a smell of baguette or croissant, or that is also now, it's a bit of a nostalgia.
Is that why you record? I mean, we just listened to some of your new recordings. Is that why you record in French as well, to have a connection to your former home?
Maybe. And also, I think there's something with me and French. It's funny that I didn't learn French. I learned French very late in my life, but because I learned it like a child, I didn't learn it like at the class. It feels like it's closer again to my subconscious than any other. So I feel it, and when I speak it, it feels closer sometimes to me, which is also odd. And I love it because I think when we speak different languages, there are different parts of our brain that we are different people. If we, me and Arman, we speak Farsi, we are different. If we speak English, we're different. If you speak German, you are different. And I can see myself like when I speak French, maybe I'm more emotional. When I speak English, I'm more playful. Farsi, I'm more of a clown, you know. I have like access to all these bad words that we have, like the dictionary of bad words. So I love it. French brings that emotion and that poetry and that also, again, connection to Iran, because I think French, they had another connection to culture, and there's something else that it feels like a shortcut to me.
Yeah, I was wondering, because I mean, maybe that's the way we were brought up, but I'm also always naturally gravitating to French and Italian culture, naturally, even though I was born in Germany and everything. But it always goes back, those are the connecting points for me. I don't know what it is. Maybe it is the rich culture. I mean, not to diss any other countries, but, you know, yeah, it's like it's a different level. And as you said, I mean, even though you and I would say majority speak English, just because my Farsi is not you're obviously a native fluent. But when we speak Farsi, it's immediately home. It's crazy. Like,
yeah, it becomes silly.
Yeah, it becomes silly.
It's true.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Also, I think also Latin languages like Italian, Spanish, whatever. It's like more of a bazaar, you know. As Anglo-Saxon world is more of a, or even Germanic languages is more of a like it's order, where Latin is more of a disorder, which is closer to us, jazzy and bizarre and like a bit of chaos, you know, out of the box. Because let's face it, in this industrial world, in the first world, let's call it, the most bizarre countries are all the Latin-speaking ones, you know. It's Italy, Spain, Portugal, Brazil. I mean, just name it.
Countries we are drawn to.
Exactly.
Before we go to your own music and your production, what 3 records or songs would you choose that describe who you are?
Oh my goodness. That is very hard, because it's very hard for me. There's something about folk music that kills me. That folk of that basic, very basic.
Goes to your heart straight away.
Yes, there's no like obstacle. Anything folk, anything I hear from a village, it doesn't matter where, but it's coming from the earth as if like a plant. There is no intellectualism. It's basic. It's caveman. It's that human that hasn't changed, and it's the sound of human coming out with no evolution attached to it. That really pierced into my heart. No matter, especially when it's coming from different regions in the Middle East. Or Iran, especially Qashqai, Bakhtiari, the Kurds, Khorasan, like a theme from Khorasan. All these things that they have, like this, all these things that they're as if it's the earth crying, it's the trees crying, and they have the most not intellectual lyrics, words, as if like, Layli, why did you leave me? Layli, why don't you come back? Like as simple as that, but it's so deep for me. It's like as if music is passing everything else. which on the other pole, I would say, if that's the North Pole, the South Pole is classic jazz. It's like it gets really complication. It's the most evolved, made by humans. It's humans is going forward. It's the advanced human. It goes towards classical jazz. At the same time that I love blues, or like, how do you call it? This super redneck American music, you know, like that are playing like in Texas and in the country, super country. For me, those are also like folk music. Like they also touch my heart. Same as when I hear something Japanese, that it sounds folk again. But there is something, of course, South America, everything. I think as the...
Well, there's no language barrier at that point. Because it's
true.
Again, it's going back to being visceral. It's organic.
Yeah. It's the sound of the earth. It's sound of like humans with no ego, I would say. They don't exist. It's the sound itself. It's like when Rumi says, when the flute, the reason that a bamboo becomes a flute is because it's empty. So the human beings, when they are empty, when you become empty of who you are, then only a divine melody can come through you, like the flute, like the bamboo that is empty. And it always starts from separation, because also Rumi starts the book with separation of the bamboo from the source. As you separate the humans from their mother, you cut the cord, you cut the nombril, like everything starts, all the journeys, they start with a separation. As also, it can be for humans, exile, immigration, or separation from oneself, separation from your behaviors, your comfort zones, everything. If you want to have a rebirth again, you need to separate from something. Or like the example of moth, of course, the butterfly. Again, in Persian mysticism, they talk about it, that the moth cannot be a caterpillar and a moth at the same time. The caterpillar needs to die so that the butterfly, the moth, for the moth comes to life. So it's like that. It's like, it's that emptiness that brings those melodies to life.
Funny, because we just talked about obviously the pandemic and how the world has been changing the past few years, last 3-4 years, and I like that reference. And now going back to the moth and this letting go of the past, it's also what you just said with the mask. We're wearing masks, so our nature is forcing us to wear these masks, so our other senses become heightened. So we listen and we watch and see instead of talking.
Yeah.
That's such a nice metaphor.
It's a metaphor of just shut up, human, shut up, and just open your eyes, open your body, open your senses. It's enough talking in this world. It's time for listening, time for action, time for being quiet also, because again, in Persian mysticism says God exists where there's silence. If there's no silence, there is no truth. And the truth is that silence in between notes. That is what you need, where also the silence is full of music. It's not silence. If there is a language, that language of silence is full of music and vibrations and high vibrations, where it's true. I think our world these days needs a lot of silence and listening. And only then we can hear the sound of the earth, the sound of truth, the sound of change, as you said, that the era is changing. There's no more space for in this new world for whatever we were living in the 19th century, 20th century, what you were. Yeah, we need to leave so many things behind. Yeah. There's no space for that in this new world. And if you wanted to carry it, you can't. It's like it doesn't. You cannot pass the threshold with all these baggage. You need to put it on the other side.
And to make it more tangible for our listeners, that we use the reference of even the NAF but even the Oscars this year.
Yeah,
in comparison.
My goodness.
I mean, for how long did they ignore or fight that there's a cultural change happening and you have to become more inclusive and diverse? And suddenly, even the Oscars couldn't deny the reality and look how it changed. I mean, for better or the worse, the way it was set up. But a new dawn has. It's a new dawn. It's a new. We're starting from zero right now.
Of course, and I think because we haven't listened enough, now we are forced
to listen.
Yeah, now it's like a force that is being pushed upon humanity. If you haven't listened, now climate change, everything, women, whatever issues, Black lives, as you were saying. Everything we were somehow just ignoring because the humanity was in the comfort zone, maybe.
In the comfort zone, is right.
And now it's just, it's time for evolution. It's time for metamorphosis. We cannot be a caterpillar and a butterfly. The caterpillar needs to die so that the butterfly will come to life.
Which kind of leads me to my next question. But before we go there, what song would you choose to be a representation of the caterpillar, and what song would you choose as a representation of the butterfly?
For me, the butterfly for sure is this artist that is really one of my biggest inspirations in life, even when I work in cinema, is Olafur Arnalds. It's Iceland. There's something also about the music coming from Iceland. It's just...
Have you been to Iceland?
No.
Oh, wow, you have to. It's quite something. It's really, we've been to many places and there are a lot of great places, but then there are places that there is something different. You feel it, you see it, you touch it. There is another sphere of something outerworldly. It's crazy.
I can hear it. I can hear it in their music. Yeah. Is that like so many bands and so many artists, so many composers from Iceland, they shook my core. It wasn't, again, it was on body level. And of course, Olafur Arnalds, it's like, I don't know how can I act without his music. His music for me is first of all, it's instrumental, but it's so visual, as if when he plays, you can see images. And that's why I like the hang, because hang, when it's played well, it's so visual. It takes you into, it's a trip. It's like a substance. Music has this capacity.
I call it elf music.
Elf music, yeah.
It's literally like that.
Yeah. And for him, when I go to his concerts, it's like, it just moves me. I feel I'm not sitting on the chair, I'm just a bit above. And for me, I think that is definitely the butterfly. The caterpillar is more difficult. I think it's probably when I'm coming from is a lot of pain. Again, it's from Iceland. It's Sigur. It's like, or even Archive is not from there, but Sigur is more recent for me. And that, again, that feeling of when you've been teared apart and you need that, like a snake coming out of your skin, and there's no birth without pain. I mean, it's impossible that you manage to do this metamorphosis in a comfort zone. There is pain. There's also another example that horseshoe, you need to make it hot to then just hit it so hard to be able to shape it. If it's not hot, if it's not like a lava degree, and if you don't hit it, you can't shape it. So I think, again, it's also archive. Also kind of, I should say, dream theater, because also I lived a lot with dream theater. I had my hard rock moment, in my life when I was at it was exactly before I was going to Vienna conservatory, and I was listening to all these heavy metal, Sepultura, Pantra, crazy dream theater, like Perfect Circle, Tools, like Tool. Oh my goodness! Like I still, when I listen, and then it went to System of a Down. Again, it was getting more and more refined.
Huh?
Armenians, yes, and they were incredible.
Wake up! Grab brush and put a little makeup. I discuss the fade away the shake up. Why'd you leave the keys up on the table? Here you go, create another fable. You wanted to grab a brush and put a little makeup. You wanted to. I discuss the fade away the shake up. You wanted to. Why'd you leave the keys up on the table? You wanted to. Well, I don't think you trust in my self-righteous suicide. I cry when angels deserve to die.
Just recently, during this Corona time, we were shooting in New York, and I said, okay, now we need some super meta. And we had to put it down because of some issues with the production, but still works. I remember I was doing so much headbanging when I was going to high school that I was always coming to school with like conservatory with like my neck completely like in these little casts because my neck wasn't working. But I think that is, if we give the example of the lotus, if the roots are in dream theater and tools, the flower comes to Olafur Arnalds for me. It's like, and it's needed, that dirt, not that dirt, but that root is needed for the flower to come out divine.
I like how that's probably our heritage and our background, but how we like to speak very, can you say that, floral? It's very poetic, it's very colorful.
Visual, it's very visual.
Well, yeah.
I think we can't express ourselves.
No.
We need to. I always find,
hands.
Hands. We like Italians, but also images. I always find it's almost impossible for me to express myself without images. I always find right away an example to say what I mean. It's crazy. I think it's a bit cultural.
Definitely.
Also, it's easier. It's easier.
Less words. Just imagine it. Okay?
Just imagine this situation.
But how important is silence, though, like for creativity? Or when you, for instance, do you prepare for a role, do you need silence? I mean, we talked about having your own space, for instance, when you shoot.
Yes, space. And it's not privacy. It's space. It's a space that is not occupied by masses of bubbles and blood. And even if humans around are quiet and are respecting, it's not empty. I mean, I really need that emptiness. That's why I'm living on top of a mountain in the middle of nowhere. But I feel that it's funny. I realized in my life, I was never afraid of anything in nature or animals or anything. The only fear I had since I was a child was always other humans watching or being there. Even when I was in a forest, I remember down north of Iran, I was always looking back to see if there's a human following. I was never watching for a boar or for a bear or nothing. And I think, I truly need that space, that silence, that vast emptiness. And I think that's what everybody in this world talks about, the light and the sun. But I think there is a nothingness that is holding the sun. And that is what interests me, is that nothingness, that silence in between notes, between words. I can read people when they're silent, when they're moving their body. It's easier for me to understand. And when there's too much intellectualism and all that, I get lost. I'm like, I think people, they hide behind words, sounds. Also, when we get anxious, we talk fast, we fill the gaps. We become silly. We want to fill the gap because we are afraid of sitting in silence and just do nothing. And it's okay. We can just sit together and do nothing.
I had that experience years ago when I went to the retreat at Kripalu. It's in the Berkshires, like on the East Coast in the States. Yoga retreat, yoga and hiking retreat. But I remember like the morning breakfast when you have like this like room full of strangers basically, and there was this woman sitting that was part of our group, but it's silent breakfast, so you're not allowed to talk. And she was sitting across from me, and we're eating our breakfast, and she just looked at me, and you first look back, you can't talk, so you just look at each other, you smile, okay, you look, you eat a bit, and you look up, she's still looking at me. I'm like, okay, that's a bit awkward, and you kind of start looking away, and you start looking at your plate, and then later when we were together again and we went for our daily hike, she came to me and she told me like, it's funny, like I was trying to communicate through the eyes with you, but you always looked away, like you were looking up, left, right, and smiling, and because you didn't know how to communicate. You didn't communicate because you couldn't open your mouth. So it was a direct look into your soul, and it made you uncomfortable. So you had to shy away. And the first time it became conscious of it. I was like, yeah, you're right. I was super uncomfortable in that moment. Obviously, a stranger staring at you is a bit weird, but But then I was like, yeah. And since then, I've been trying to practice that because it's important to be able to be in silence with yourself, but also with other people around. I mean, now I'm, I think, really good at it. I think the pandemic kind of really specialized all of us in it.
Also, try to look into someone's eyes for like 6 seconds.
Yeah.
It's so uncomfortable. Also, that's why, like, I do this meditation retreats, Vipassana centers by going Koji. They call it noble silence, which you're not allowed to look at each other either. Because that is also, you can break the silence because it can become the language of the eye, the hands.
I like how we're deeply staring at each other.
Yeah, it's like deeply. Yeah.
What are you trying?
But if you don't talk and stare, it's like, you burst in laughter. You can't make it.
That's true. But going back to the music.
Yes. But this is just the tea sound. I was thinking when you were talking that it's like this only the tea.
It's not me being now.
I was thinking, like, what are they doing over there?
Well, we Persians, we have to drink our tea.
Music.
But when you prepare for a new movie role, film role, do you create like an audio mood board? Like, do you prepare for your character with music? Do you form whoever you want to play or need to play?
I think my life is somehow like a miracle. I mean, the music comes as if I just open the door and the music for that character just pours in from just by coincidence. Like recently I was in Paris and I just saw one of these stupid videos on Instagram that had a music, and I had no idea what it is. And then I realized it's actually a very famous singer, and it's like even commercial, and I had no idea. And that sound became the soundtrack of this last movie I did.
Who was it?
It was Aurora. Is that her name?
Aurora.
Yeah.
Norwegian singer.
The one that I
Blonde.
was running far away. Da, 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 nobody knows. It become like also again. I didn't even pay attention to the lyrics, but it was resonating when I listened. I was like, it just like take me home where I belong.
I can't take it anymore. I was painting a picture. The picture was a painting of you, and
I was like, take me home where I belong. It just again by coincidence. And then what else? Watermelon Sugar High. Again, that became like again. It was another Instagram video of a baby doing like something funny with it. And it just fit perfectly in this springtime in Paris where the spring was coming out, and I was working only at night. So at morning when the sun was out, I was going back home, and it was Watermelon Sugar High in Paris, and it was just perfect.
Watermelon sugar high, watermelon sugar high, watermelon sugar high, watermelon sugar high.
It was just joy, and it was some themes are just perfect.
Yeah, it's going back to what we said in the beginning, where like music can just take you to a moment, and now that's going to be the soundtrack to that movie for you for probably the rest of your life. So every time you're going to hear Harry Styles sing "Watermelon Sugar,"
yeah, exactly. It's not the most intellectual one, but the thing is, yeah,
catchy.
Like so many, like we have so many of these songs, like "Lady," like you do not.
Yeah, me too.
Exactly.
Mojo.
Or "Blue," I'm blue, ba-da-dee-da-da. Like you never. Or this another stupid. I mean, I know you want me. You know I want you. Like the lyrics, like cannot be. I mean, really, I know you want me. You
Takes
know.
me back to Cuckoo 2006 in London.
But everybody remembers. It's crazy. It's simplicity. There's something enfantine, childish. There's something that I think that's the child in all of us that somehow remembers, because if you pay attention to the notes, it's the simplest way. And that's why they say, like, even in painting, I mean, the painters, when you reach that simplicity is where you become a master. When you, with one line, you can just express, like Miro, like Picasso at the end, it's one line and that's it. And I think music is also somehow, I always feel some melodies are just coming from the top and people are just channeling them. You just have to be lucky enough or just destined to channel some themes that they're going to stay in history no matter what they are. I think like Prince, Michael Jackson, all these people, they were somehow channeling some stuff, same as Mozart, same as Beethoven, they were also channeling. Some of these melodies are just coming from divine, they're coming from somewhere else, they're just channeled. So the musicians, they become that flute. They are not the melody, they're just the flute that melody is being played through them. And again, some are divine, some are not, but they're historic. You remember them.
Oh, it's so true.
Even, I mean, listen to da 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 da. I mean, can something be more simple than this? Really, like if you listen to all these songs that we all remember, they are like so simple.
Talking about Miro and Picasso and all these greats, they learned their skills and to a perfection. They studied it before to get to the point where they can come and, like Miles Davis, just completely throw everything away and start from scratch and just do it at the moment and just come up with something in just that one line, right?
Absolutely.
And that's like the ultimate level of of skills and talent, right?
Absolutely.
And then, of course,
there is no jumping steps.
no,
Like you need to go one by one, up, and then at the end you fly. It's just
how our friend Julian Schnauer said in his podcast. He was saying, you come to the set prepared, but you just roll and see what happens, kind of. But you are coming prepared. Everybody comes prepared. They know what they're doing, and then you just let it fly and see what happens. It's exactly the same thing, you know.
Yeah, also you give a chance to the universe to surprise you.
Yeah.
Because when you're so prepared and you want to stick to the rules and like
Doesn't
the
work.
frames, you don't give any chance to the gods to just come and say, okay, can we also say a line? Or can we do something for you? Or can we bring a sunset that is incredible? If you're so much sticking to your, controlling everything, you don't give any chance for divine action or divine interference that is sometimes really amazing.
That's why I'm Gitano. That's why I'm
And now it's like, okay, let me bring the mics. Now it's time to bring the mics.
Yeah, that's why we just
Yeah, and I always think of, we have to roll with it.
Exactly. That's actually how I think Scorsese works, no? He he has full trust in whoever's acting, and he's like, just roll. We just shoot and see what happens. That's his approach to filmmaking.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Michael Wincott told me that, yeah.
It's incredible.
He just rolls, just shoot, just don't never stop not shooting kind of vibe. And just capture whatever happens.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
You haven't worked with him, have you?
No, but we were in a jury in Morocco. It was incredible. I mean, we were together for like 2 weeks, 10 days, every day talking about movies. And
What's that like?
oh, incredible. That jury in the Marrakesh Film Festival that year was just, exceptional. It was, we became so all of that 10 people of that jury.
Who else was in the jury?
It was Marion Cotillard, Paolo Sorrentino, Anurag Kashyap. They were so many of us. I don't want to name because I might forget some of the names. I'm very bad with names, but it was really amazing. And also how you decide and how, as Jean-Claude Carrière, my godfather, always telling me in a jury, if you want to do what you need to do first, the first rule is you always say, you're right. You're right. But, and then you let everybody talk, and then you just say, you're right, you're absolutely right. And then you just say what you think, and that would work.
I love that. From all your movies that you shot over the years, do you have like some favorite babies? And especially from your time working in Iran comparison to being in exile and working in exile, like the biggest differences?
It's very different. I mean, my life was really split in half when I left Iran. It was, although I was traveling a lot before, but I think in Iran, of course, I did this movie that still my acting method is coming from that movie, Tear of the Cold. It was this shepherd in Kurdistan. And again, like this director he was only working with non-actors. So I was really one of the rare actors that he was working with. And he didn't believe in giving the script to actors. So he was always putting them into that situation where the actors, they wouldn't think and prepare, but they would prepare only for what they needed to enough. And even for me now, that became somehow my reference, that sometimes just before the first take, not even in the rehearsals, I can't give anything. But sometimes even I don't know, what am I going to do? Sometimes I ask myself, what am I going to do? What's going to happen? And I think that is the moment where I trust and I say, the character is going to come. It's not me. It's just, I just try to, you just have to be empty, and it happens, and you need to trust. If you don't trust, if you doubt, the moment of doubt, you fall. You just have to trust and jump and be sure that you're going to land well. And it always happens well for me.
هنوزم میتوان رفت هیزم آور؟
نه دیگه امکان نداره. 2 متری هم نمیشه دید. آدم راحت گم میشه.
نباید اینجوری هیزم ها را هدر بدهیم.
آره بد وضعی پیش میاد. این هیزم ها حتما تا شب نمیرسه.
عاقبت شومی در انتظار منه.
تو که نمیخوای اینجا بمیری.
نه نمیخوام.
دعا کن از این وضع نجات پیدا کنی.
Well, that movie was really remarkable for me, Tear of the Cold. Also, I was doing a shepherd. I had my goats, my sheep. I was like, exactly, there. We just, where are they? And then outside, it was this, it's hard to say, but I think Patience Stone had the most psychological effect on me that really...
ملا گفت بعد 2 هفته شاید بتونی چیزی بگویم بشنوی. 16 روز شده. هیچ وقت به گپم گوش نکردی. هیچ وقت. 10 سال از عروسی کردیم. تو میفهمید اینجا خط جنگ میشه. با سلاح بخش میکنن. به جنگ میرن. خوشحال است.
Again, it was another woman that was emancipation of women and all that, because I have different eras. One era was women, emancipation. Now it has changed a little bit. Now it's more warrior. It went from emancipation to becoming a warrior. So yeah, but it's hard to say, because every movie is just doing something, marking something, some corners of your soul, or you didn't know, you just discover. It's hard to say.
Do you, I mean, you obviously studied music as well. So music is the other love. That's your first love, right? Music.
Well, I was destined to become a musician. It was like a force. Also, the family was pushing it a lot.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, when
More
I
than
did...
acting.
Oh, my goodness. They didn't want me to become an actor at all. When I was 14, my dad was refusing all the proposals since I was a child, because we were in a family acting family. And finally, they had to go through my sister. And my dad didn't know. And when they, after all the auditioning, when they took me, my dad was so upset. My mom was crying as if my life is over. Like, literally. They were like, oh, you're not going to play piano anymore. That's it, finished. And actually it happened. They were right. Because it's true. I continued the conservatory. I finished the conservatory. I was on my way to go to Vienna. And I just asked myself, this is not... what I have to do. I mean, classical music, and while I was listening to Dream Theater and Tools, and I was like...
That was a rebellion phase. That was like something deep inside, that anger that needed to get let out.
Yeah, and it wasn't my thing. I mean, and I wasn't practicing. That was also the truth. All my classmates, they were playing 7-8 hours to 12 hours a day, and I was like, I was playing 1 hour a week. And it was happening. I mean, I was still very good and the best, but I knew that this is not going to be sustainable. It wasn't sustainable. But then the music changed for me, and because I'm coming from that academic, like whiplash world, that they were so destroying our self-esteem and confidence. If you put me in front of 1,000 people, I can do anything. But if I have to play the piano in front of you, I would start sweating and I can't play shit. It's really
Even for
crazy.
yourself, you don't know how to play anymore? It doesn't come out?
If I know there's nobody around, then I can play. But if there are people, it's just that. And then that's why I chose Hank, because I somehow found freedom in music, with percussions, with hang, and also playing on the street. I always wanted to play on the street.
I love that viral video of you. Where was this? Like you were playing the hang drum, and
it was in
it's
Paris.
mesmerizing. And I think, I mean, so many people watching it and being mesmerized, I think for 2 reasons, maybe 3. One, of course, the sound of the hang drum, which is, as I said, elf sounds. You know, it just immediately takes you somewhere else, to another planet. It's very mystical.
Yeah.
Then, of course, you know, the famous actress, wow, playing the hang drum, incredible. Wow, we didn't know that. But then also this, like, you can see the joy in your face, and also like in the middle of sitting on the street with a little scarf, just playing like perfect hang drum. People around you are like, wait, what's happening? I think that's why I think they had like the viral hit.
That was the first viral musical hit I had. People, they didn't know about the actress.
Oh, I didn't know about the music outside.
Yeah, but the music was going viral on Facebook. It was the Facebook time. It was like maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was surprised because it had like 2 million views. At that time was a lot. In like 2 weeks, it was really viral. And people, they didn't know. It was just commenting about this girl on the street that is playing hang.
This homeless girl, give us some money.
Yeah, exactly. But I think also it's the magic of hang also. But it's not as easy as people think.
No.
People,
I just touch it for the first time now, and I thought I always wanted to get a hang drum. Obviously, I didn't. But I love how you have like 20 hang drums in your closet. You're just showing me, and how you just hit it, and I just tried it and just went numb, like boom.
No, but you can play.
Yeah,
Everybody can play, but it's just.
We're definitely gonna play here in a minute.
Yeah.
I will play for you.
Yeah, you play.
Yeah, I love the hang drum. But you also produce incredible music.
Oh,
I love, as I said, I mean, it's that you were singing on that record. That's how I discovered you first singing, which is on, what's his name again?
Yalatnam with Bashar.
Yeah, with Bashar. Beautiful.
تشتشي والخوخ تحت المشمشي كل ما هب الهوا لقته فلانة دم شمشي هيو هيو هيلينا مستك لكنك عيرينا تنغسل لتيابنا دا وننشر ونعل ياسمينا.
Also with Ibrahim Malouf, we did another song.
I found my love in Portofino perché nei sogni credo ancora lo strano gioco del destino. A Portofino m'ha preso il cuore nel dolce incanto del mattino.
There's also some other songs that haven't come out, but I never consider myself as a singer. I sing, but I'm not a singer. I don't have a singer voice. I just sing. There are singers out there. I'm not. I'm definitely not.
You're an artist. There are different mediums that you want to show your creativity, express yourself.
Yeah. Yes. Artiste. I just express. Express and interpret. I interpret songs and texts, and I like reciting, reading. Also, I always also consider myself as a bridge between West and East. Yeah. It's very hard, and it's very sad that we don't have many bridges. No.
There are a handful of us Persians around that are part of these bridges. There's a lot of them. It's one or the other. You either have the Iranians, or you have Tehrangeles, like the Kardashians of the West Coast, But there are a few of us who kind of
we can bridge these gaps. We belong to both. We can somehow be like a postman of cultural postman, bringing some things talking about saffron and caviar and tahdig.
Tahdig. I don't know how many conversations I had about tahdig and all bulu. Actually, I was on a podcast on Hall on Gone a couple of months ago. Two guys from the States, like New York and LA, huge fans of Persian food. Obviously in LA you have so many restaurants, so they're like every episode they talk about Persian food in tahdig, and I think they made a deal with a local Iranian restaurant for sponsors.
Oh my god! Love it. Oh, Persian food is really special. I mean, I love Japanese and Italian,
Yeah.
but Persian food is...
Yeah, it's incredible. Have you ever seen the Anthony Bourdain episode when CNN when he went to Iran?
No.
You have to watch.
No.
That was his biggest goal to manage to come and shoot in Iran.
Oh, la, la. Maybe I've seen it. I'm bad with names. It's about food?
Yeah, it's Anthony Bourdain traveled the world obviously before he died, but traveled the world to discover food and eat locally, basically. And his goal was to get into Iran and to shoot with CNN in Iran. Of course, it's impossible. It's impossible. I think it took him like 6-7 years to be able to go.
So far, Iran does not look, does not feel the way I'd expected. Neither east nor west, but always somewhere in the middle.
Well, it looks spectacular.
You can't have this in a restaurant. It's time consuming, it's very expensive. So you have to, Persian cuisine has to be experienced in somebody's home.
Well, thank you.
And then, of course, you watch that episode with the Iranians, and of course, my family, and everybody has something to criticize about the food. No, this is not how you do it.
Yes. It's very Persian. Also, Persian food, you need to eat it in people's home. I mean, there is no, restaurant, you can't have it. How can you have Thai in the restaurant?
Yeah, it's too time consuming and too many details to have it like on mass.
Also, there's so many different varieties from the north, from the south, from like, imagine all the north, the food they make up north. Yeah. It's very different to the south, to Tehran, to the traditional, to Turks, Azeris and all that. It's
I just told you, I just only recently discovered through watching something on, I think, BBC Persia or something, during Nowruz, the Persian New Year, all these different dances and cultures from different regions of Iran. I didn't know we have basically black Iranians in the south. And I'm like, wow, it was like eye-opening. I didn't know that.
Well, Iran is the density of different races and different people with different cultures all living together. That's the meaning of Iran. It's like the people from different places all living together. It in the wrong spot, definitely, because it's like it's the middle of the fire. But that's the beauty of Iran.
Do you get homesick a lot?
Not anymore. Not on the surface, I would say. It's more deep. It's like I always say, it's like I have lost an arm. It's hard in the beginning, but then you go to Paralympic without an arm and you become a champion. It's okay. It becomes your new life. So I think this wound has become part of me, and it is part of me. So I say we are disabled souls, and we are disabled forever, but we somehow manage to function in this world. And this disability is part of me. It's my power. It's like you see most of these TED Talks that they lost an arm, lost a leg, they burnt in fire, they all became a new person. And if you imagine if that catastrophe wouldn't happen, they wouldn't become a TED Talker for sure. It's crazy. It's how, again, the butterfly is how you manage to use all these negativity, all this, again, the lotus roots in the dirt, and manage to come out of this dirt and become this lotus, which is the most precious flower in the world.
And you have in your pond here as well.
Yeah, those are lilies. Yeah. Well, that's why, because a lotus needs a lot of dirt. And this pond is not dirty enough. It's like swimming water.
Do you have a song that when you feel homesick or something that you kind of can lull in and dive into? It's like your mom caressing you.
Oh.
Mama, no.
Oh. There are many of them, I think. Of course, Rashid Behbudov is this Azeri from Azerbaijan singer that is a lot of nostalgia for me.
Ele gelsin, ele geçsin. Ele gelsin, ele geçsin. Aramızda söz olmasın.
There are some Kurdish songs that are all mystic songs from Kurdistan. Layli, there's a group that they sang all these forbidden songs that they should have never been recorded. And that is also something, again, that is never aged for me. It's always...
یا شنونده ناله صبح دم عزیزم ای دیدم ای جان.
And I think, again, folk, anything folk just takes me to all these old men that they play kamanche or play tambour or dotar, and they sing a very folk song. Like there was this song that literally, it's a song for Goli, because the nickname for GOLSHIFTE, like they call me Goli. Like
you can play it.
It's like, yeah, it's like, and it just caressed my soul. It becomes my behsus.
گلی 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 تو چه نازی دل نشینی آهنگ و سازی گلی گلی تو خوشگلی تو نه آسون نه مشکلی گلی 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 تو چه نازی دل نشینی آهنگ و سازی گلی گلی یه دنیا رازی تو خوشگلا تو یک تازی.
But the truth is, when I dive into something, again, it's mostly, it doesn't belong to Iran anymore. Mm-hmm. It's something, again, from Iceland, from somewhere else, from another planet.
And if you would like to introduce our listeners to Persian music, maybe contemporary Persian music, is there like an artist that you'd like to, hey, go and discover?
Oh my goodness. This revolution did some revolution to some arts, which is, I think, plastic art, like paintings, graphic, all that, and music, especially girls. When I go to SoundCloud and listen to all these suggestions, you choose a song and all the suggestions, it's just one song better than the other. It's unbelievable. I don't even know which one I should suggest.
You can just pick any of your SoundCloud.
If I look at the SoundCloud, let me go. I have a Persian folder.
Is it public? Can people follow it?
No, maybe I should make it public, because I have such good playlists. I should say no. Okay, I'm going to go to Persian songs, and then I have divine. There are some mix, of course, with Shajarian and Olafur Arnold. They make the, Olafur Arnold went to Iran. Imagine my hero as someone I need a signature
Have you met?
No, yes, we have. He invited me to his concert in Paris, and I went behind, and I couldn't believe. I mean, it was so he was so from Iceland, and he's he's my guru. Like Tom York, that in some age I would just kill to go to his concert. Still, I would kill to go to Radiohead's concert. It's one of my dreams before I die. I want to go to a Radiohead.
Sure,
please, listeners.
In the deepest ocean, the bottom
if I look at these songs, there is this girl, her name, we don't have he and she and all that, but there is this one girl, Emma, I think her name is Emma. It's her. It's one of her songs. And she does covers. This is a cover. Just listen to her. She's so beautiful. This is like Iran after the revolution. I mean, how can this be? Huh?
What year? Is this from today?
Yeah, it's like maybe 2 years ago. You should see her. She is gorgeous. Gorgeous. And she's not the only one. I just remember her because she's special to me. But what she does is just... And she does everything herself. There's another girl also that... She's younger, she's not even 20. She has this song about Hormuz. She's crazy. She has a little beauty mark here. This is also another one.
I thought we were pointing in the
Oh, this one, K-Naz. This one, this guy, this girl, K-Naz. And she just plays like...
مردم جنوب فهمیدن زندگی چیه اگه دیوارشو بتونی دریا که رنگیه هرشو میچاپن حال میکنن واقعا من یه روز میرم یه جا که مردمش اهل حالن از صبح تا شب راجع به درد و رنجشون نمینالن من هم میرم یه روز یه جا که مردمش اهل حالن از صبح تا شب راجع به مشکلاتشون نمینالن. There you go. I will send you some. Maybe I should open my playlist to you.
Yes, please. Educate me. Widen my horizon.
Babajun, you should only just... I should just open this and then you will see. It's like there's not only one.
But you know what's beautiful about this? It also helps to paint a picture that you only get when you actually travel yourself to countries, right? Because we are so... And going back to how the gatekeepers are changing, especially in the past 3-4 years, we mentioned the wine scenes and co. They were just like, that world is done. It's the same thing here. Like, I only had the chance to visit Iran as a kid when I was 16, and suddenly you realize, okay, first of all, we're all the same, and how amazing hospital the culture is and how great, right? And people are smiling. It's, it's not these images that we are fed in the media, through the media, and also, it's very one-sided, it's very politicized messages we get. And now we listen to a 16-year-old girl on the piano, sitting somewhere in Iran, playing Persian pop music, so to say, well, contemporary music, that this could be from a girl in Brooklyn, just in a different language. That's the beauty of it. It just how it simplifies the whole thing. It makes it so much more human and tangible, And I had an interesting experience with that when I had a gig in Ghana, in Accra, in Ghana. And I went to the market there, and the hotel was like, you have to have a guide with you. And, I walked in, I lived in New York back then, but, so the first, my brother, where are you from? I was like, oh, New York. And then I had swarms of people around me. I was like, okay, that's not a good answer. Then next group, they're like, where are you from, my brother? I was like, oh, from Germany. bit more respect, but still strong. And then at some point, I was like, I'm from Iran.
Nobody.
and then they're like, became like eye to eye with me. They're like, my brother, salam alaikum. And they were so grateful and so thankful. And because the Iranians send a lot of, there are a lot of Muslims in Ghana, but there's also Iran sends a lot of doctors to Ghana. So suddenly I became eye to eye with them. They spoke to me in a whole different level than when I said I'm from New York or from Germany or something, where it was like, they saw more like, oh, there's an opportunity here, whereas suddenly we were like eye to eye. And that was very interesting to me as well. Like, it's the same playing level. Like the moment we just kind of, you get there through traveling, and you're going away from the tourist place, you actually go deep into wherever city, country you're in and culture, then you really get a taste. I think that's why Anthony Bourdain's series was so successful, because he, with his level of celebrity and having the CNN being the thing behind it, to literally show you Vietnam and Iran and whatever other countries from a real perspective. This is where the locals are. And look, it's not dangerous, it doesn't kill me, and it's beautiful and delicious and colorful, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty and the power of music as well, where what a beautiful way for us to introduce Persian culture to a global audience that they usually don't see or get to see, you know, or hear. Usually it's just like one-sided news messages.
That's what artists do. That's how Kiarostami managed to change the image of Iran from that horrible movie, the Without My Daughter, that they made, into a boy that is searching for his friend, Khane Dus Kojas, whereas he managed, really, we owe him, because he managed to change this horrible image of Iran to the other side, which is full of humanity, full of love, full of just simplicity, and there is no political things involved. People are people, villages are villages. Also, Taste of Cherry is the same. It won the Palme d'Or in Cannes. And
ماه دیدی نمیخوای این ستاره ها رو ببینی شب مهتاب اون قرص کامل ما دیگه نمیخوای ببینی چشمت میخوای ببندی.
A lot of what we think about other countries is filtered through the news media with an emphasis on geopolitics. This is certainly the case with Iran. But that's obviously an incomplete picture of a country with a very complex society and a long and rich tradition of art and culture, including movies like Abbas Kiarostami's 1997 masterpiece, Taste of Cherry. Now, to an American viewer, the idioms, the language, and the landscape of this film are likely to be unfamiliar and exotic, but its themes are certainly accessible and universal. It's about friendship, it's about despair, it's about our long, circuitous quest for meaning. Taste of Cherry is about a man driving through the countryside looking for someone to help him commit suicide. He picks up 3 different passengers and engages them in long and sometimes puzzling conversations. That's really about all there is to it. Kiarostami alternates close-up shots inside the car with long, wide shots that show it moving through the landscape. And the effect of this is a kind of poetic intensity, a sense of enigma and implication.
I think artists in general, they have the capacity of changing that perspective. And that's what's very, also art and culture. Food is also culture. It's like when you enter some people's culture, and also, of course, music, because I mean, the amount of singers, women are not allowed to sing in Iran, but you know how many thousands of musicians, girls we have on SoundCloud. It's just, it exists, concerts, everything. Iran is the only country that we have exhibition traffic on Fridays, which is like Sundays, that people are stuck in traffic going to see exhibitions. I mean, what country, you don't even have that in New York, you know, that on Sunday you're in traffic sitting because you're going from like MoMA to Met to this to that, like no. But in Iran you have that. So I think art in Iran is not, it's essential. It's like oxygen. It's not a game. It's not just a entertainment, or it's essential thing. And because people are in danger, they put themselves in danger to be an artist sometimes. So art, poetry is in the is in the very base of the society, and that's what's really charming about it. And no matter what, the Mughals, the Greeks, Alexander, Genghis Khan, Arabs, whoever invaded, they always melted in Iranian culture and poetry. Even the language, we managed to keep it because of Ferdowsi, because of the Book of the King, because it was Iran. Even Arabs didn't manage to change the language. They kept the language. We kept the language of poetry. We still can read Hafiz and Saadi and Rumi. So, yeah, it's a country of saffron and caviar and beautiful carpets and beautiful girls.
Yes!
Voila!
And I'm sitting right in front of one of them. Do you think technology kind of helped, obviously, this new generation also of Iran to access the world and vice versa? Like how it really it gave them a certain freedom? Because, technology and social media, and it's a double-sided edged sword, right? It's good and bad. It has its advantages and disadvantages. But I think in that case, it really is a channel to be able to communicate with the world.
Well, it is very true. That's why it's also very much banned. And people in Iran, they need a lot of breaking filters and VPN and changing this and that to be able to access Facebook, YouTube, all that. It's not allowed, but they somehow manage, because also social media is helping, especially to connect and reconnect also in between Iranians all around the world. I think the gap is becoming smaller, because before that I was feeling that I have no idea what Iran is today. But what I see, because even for me, Iran today, I'm looking at it as a foreigner, because this Iran that is today is not the Iran I left. So I'm also learning about how people talk, what people wear, all this music. If it wasn't because of, social media, I wouldn't know about these girls that I told you about.
Through this interview series, through Are We On Air, this incredible house label from Tehran reached out to me. And I should give them a shout out. I forgot the name, damn it. But they have incredible, every week they release incredible electronic music, like house music, techno. And they live streamed on my Insta stories. I saw how they were throwing a little party, like a rave, just a few months ago on the ski slopes outside of Tehran. Shemshak. They put a stage and were DJing. I'm like, wait, this could be like a boiler room in the Swiss Alps somewhere,
They call Shemshak Shibiza. Shibiza, yeah.
Well, what's your go-to falling in love or heartbreak song?
It depends on which heartbreak in what era.
Or falling in love.
It was actually a house. Because I love electronic music.
Yeah. We have favorite electronic music. I want to hear what you listen to.
My goodness. Acid Poly.
Yeah.
Kills me.
Well, you're my friend. And can you see?
Satori. It depends. Everyone.
The Illuminati sound. Of course, Manoto.
Yeah.
The story.
It's Baba Aziz. Manoto it comes from the movie I did.
Yeah.
When I was 19 in 2003, Baba Aziz, and I was there when they were when Stewart, that got the Oscar 2 years ago for the sound, he was recording it. I was there. When Ghazal Shakeri was singing, I was there. And then God knows, it has a long story, huh?
من و تو بی من و تو جمع شویم از سر ذوق
خوش و فارغ ز خرافات پریشان من و تو.
I asked Nu, we were together in a van at Burning Man. In that year, we were like, together in Burning Man. I asked him, by the way, because I don't know if you ever met Nu, but he, you know, half Peruvian, but also speaks German and is from Germany as well. Super sweet guy. And I asked him, by the way, how on earth, because that's his biggest song until today, Mano Tu. I mean, it went bigger than the Tuluminatis, as I call it, or the Burners. You know, it's like, it's kind of popular house culture or whatever you want to call it. And so how on earth did you discover this song? And his wife or girlfriend is Iranian. So one morning, on a Sunday morning, he was literally on her laptop and he found the vocals, the music, and in 10 minutes he put that track together. That was it. And then it just took its own life. And until this day, even when I play this at Sunset Beach and the Hamptons, there's something about it. And it's, again, I think the depth. People feel the visceral of like this deep...
It's the old folk song. Bahar Del
Exactly. The old folk, the organic, the visceral feel to it that people immediately connect to. They don't know the lyrics, they don't understand, but they feel it immediately. I think that's why it became such a big song.
But it's a bit tragic because Arman Amar, the composer of that movie, registered that song as his own, which that song is a folk song from Iran, cannot be registered under the name of Arman Amar. And that's all the copyrights it's going to. Where the truth is the copyright is a folk song from Iran that has been interpreted by Ghazal Shakeri. It has nothing to do with Arman Amar. He just had these recordings that Stuart Wilson recorded from Iran, took it to Arman Amar, that was the composer of that movie. He did a great job, I think, but it was coming from heart of Iran. And how come a folk song can be registered as the copyright of Arman Amar? It's a mini joke. And now because I'm aware of what Ghazal is trying to do with all that, but it's kind of ironic.
It's similar actually to that song with Simon and Garfunkel. You know how that this song, oh my god, one of the most famous songs. I'll have to look it up. Oh my god, it's so embarrassing. But it was a Peruvian folk song. And there was a Peruvian, and the story was, as I remember, this Peruvian band in the 60s was playing in New York. Simon heard it, Paul Simon, and kind of contacted them or loved that song, and then they sampled it for one of their songs. And when I went to Peru, I heard it everywhere. I'm like, wait, that's Simon Garfunkel. And then I found out, no, this is actually a Peruvian folk song. I don't know how they managed to. I mean, I'm sure there's some sort of copyright on it, but.
Well, in Iran, there is no copyright, and that's the problem, is that there is no copyright. That's why the copyright went to Arman Amar, which is, I mean, it's like a copyright of a folk Iranian song. I mean, it's kind of...
El Condor Pasa, that's the one.
Condor Pasa.
Exactly where we are.
Yes, I would. If I could, I surely would. I'd rather stay away like a swan that's here and gone. A man gets tied up to the ground.
But going back to your heartbreak.
Oh yeah, heartbreak. Oh yeah, electronic music. I can find it actually. I can find it because again it's on SoundCloud. Yeah. I mean, it's funny. You should ask people if they're more of a Spotify people or SoundCloud people. I'm more of a SoundCloud girl. Anyways, let me find this. It was a very it was this one. It was the song I fell in love the last time. It's true. With this song. It's Arman Miran, Precious Story. And it's a mix. It's amazing. I mean,
Not the whole set.
no, it's 7 minutes.
Yeah.
But you will notice what it is. Duduk, of course, you know, it's again, you see, it's Armenian. It's something Duduk, Armenian. Yeah, I fell in love with this one. I'm mad about electronic music. But I think it's my like control. It's like my mathematic mind that likes. Yeah, I like that rhythm and consistency, and I just love electronic music. What to do?
What to do?
What to do, man? What to do?
What to do?
No, because it's like it sometimes feels a bit embarrassing.
What? No.
Yeah, and also this one, I think this one also was part of it. It was all these songs that was playing. I don't know if it was this one or that one. I don't know. This one also has something Kurdish in it. Anyway, Saturi, Acid Pali, this one. These are all the songs where I was. And Heartbreak.
Your burner phase.
My heartbreak. Heartbreak. I haven't been heartbroken for a long time. Heartbreak. I just again I want to remember what song I was listening when again to that memory, core memory. What was it that time? It's very funny because the last time that happened, I couldn't listen to music.
Silent.
Yeah. No, as if I didn't want to record this sensation. And even I remember one of my friends came and in the morning she was playing some like yogi chants and everything. And I couldn't stand it. She was burning Palo Santo. The Palo Santo I couldn't stand. The music I couldn't stand. Nothing that would take me back to that moment I couldn't stand. But still I remember those yogi chants because it was...
What were they? Can you do them? You can do them. Oh yeah, it was...
I need to remember which one was it. It was like this old... it's a very famous one. It was like a morning chant. It was like ragas. It was the morning ragas. And the smell of Palo Santo.
So California.
It's like uplifting ancient chants, but it wasn't uplifting at all. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, this is my last memory of absolute heartbreak. Not heartbreak, ego break, I would say.
Ego break.
Ego break.
I like that.
It wasn't
I've had
heartbreak.
many ego breaks in my life.
Yeah, I think it was ego. I mean, definitely it wasn't heartbreak because I wasn't in love. It was my ego.
Let go of the ego.
Where's the Shivoham then? This is important that you put the Shivoham. Shivoham, and I was like disintegrating from inside, like, you know, when you take the watermelon with the spoon and you scrape, it was like that spoon going into my soul, like taking out all that. And I could feel that my heart was melting like honey, pouring into my tummy and pouring down my legs, as if I didn't have any more blood in me, because it was just pouring down. It was my ego, like lava. I was melting into sadness and ego break. Voila.
Voila. And after the ego break, when you're out and about and you're feeling super sexy, what's the sexiest song?
Ooh, sexy song. What sexy songs that I do what with it? Do I make love?
Whatever you feel like. You can do whatever you feel like with it. I mean, what is sexy to you? And then you can put a song to it, maybe.
I mean, I think there was this playlist. It's Louis Armstrong. It's all Armstrong songs, and it's very sexy. It's always like that bathtub and candles and a glass of wine in the bathtub, and then coming out with the bathrobe, having dinner, and it just continues, you know, making love on the table, and just goes on, and it's Armstrong.
Birds singing in the sycamore trees. Dream a little dream of me, yes. Say nighty night and kiss me. Just hold me tight and tell me you miss me. While I'm alone and blue as can be. Dream a little dream of
A shout out to my beautiful house in Los Angeles with my outside.
Yeah. Corona.
Louis Armstrong. Well, Golshifte June. To wrap up our little chat, if your life would be a movie, what song would play in the end credits?
Wow. It would be some vibrations, some frequencies, high frequencies, because I feel heaven, if there is a heaven, there's only some frequency being played. It's like a megahertz with a number that just plays on your nervous system, and I think it's just some, you know, sometimes in nature where it's definitely metallic sound. It's not a gong, it's not a ball, it's something metallic. It's a tone, like it's a special frequency that is just gonna play out on people's nervous system, and you're just gonna melt and relax. And that was my plan for up here, just to play the frequency in the forest. And when you walk, it's just, you hear it, but you don't hear it, as if it's just coming from the divine. And I feel it sometimes when I'm really in some higher spheres and moments of joy, of spring or something, really, I'm like flying, I can hear it. As if it's the sound of the earth turning. As if it's that sound of the silence, which is not silence. It's a higher pitch of a frequency, of a hertz that is not a tune, it's a number. It's just, it's like just playing it's holding you. It's the sound becomes your ground. And you're not walking on earth, on material, but you're walking on that sound. And that sound is your base. And is your surrounding. It's your bubble. You are in that bubble of frequency of that sound. It would be that.
Thank you for tuning in this week. If you want to listen to the full playlist, visit areonair.com or our Spotify channel. You can also find us on Instagram and on YouTube at areonair. And a big thank you to my wonderful team at Studio Neu. I'm Arman, and I'll speak to you soon.